So let me ask a question. Do you feel an agitation as though something is burrowed under your skin and every once in a while you can feel it move? Just a tension, a sort of a need or a compulsion to act. I do. And I'm in the book of Judges right now, specifically Samson. And I think I've been feeling this way, agitated, for the past couple of weeks, but was just unable to articulate it. It wasn't a fully mature thought, you know. And so this last weekend, my Bible study was in Judges 13 and 14. And what really caught my attention, and I think it was intentional, is in Judges 13, and it's verses 24 and 25, but mostly 25, but I'll just read both. So the woman gave birth to a son and named him Samson. And the child grew up, and the Lord blessed him. And the Spirit of the Lord began to stir him when he was in Mahanadan and between Zorah and Ashtol. So God gives, so he blessed him. We learn later that he gives him superhuman strength, and then he also stirs something in him, and different translations will render that as agitated. And I went, yeah, I feel that spirit of agitation. What's even more interesting is if you keep reading in chapter 14, Samson marries a Philistine. Now, during this period, they're under Philistine occupation. And if you know anything about the Philistines, they are the ancient enemy of the Jews. I imagine occupation under them would have been worse than it was in Egypt, probably by a lot. So, God blesses Samson with strength. He gives him a spirit of agitation. And we learn not only did he marry a Philistine woman, that was actually, it was from God. God put that in Samson to marry specifically that woman. So, under the Mosaic law, which the Jews would have been, you are not supposed to marry anybody who isn't a Jew. I can't remember if it was exile or death. I can't remember. Um, but God had him do that, break Moses' law. And when you're putting the pieces together, grants him strength, puts a spirit of agitation in him, and then has him marry the enemy. God's picking a fight. That's what he's doing. He wants a conflict. He doesn't want the occupation to go on forever. You know, this is the time of the judges. The Jews don't have a king. They don't even have a prophet during this time. Um, but God is using these judges to do his will. So, what are we supposed to do with that agitation? Because it's not a bad thing. To be agitated is not a bad thing. In the same way that being sad isn't a bad thing. They're all necessary and all part of the human condition. So, why would God be giving us a spirit of agitation? Now more so than ever. So, I want to import a lesson from the Old Testament into the New. This isn't 3,500 years ago. We're not under occupation. So the context is greatly different. However, God did give Samson a gift. And we know that in Paul's epistles, he talks about different gifts that are given to each one of us that come from our Father. So I think to be in tandem with this spirit of agitation, not just to complain, not just to complain, but to use the gifts that we've been given and use that spirit of agitation to amplify it, make whatever gift you've been given, now it's the greatest it's ever been. So I think that this time God is calling us to use our gifts, because if we go off of Judges, if we go off of history, it's when there's a tension that we can all feel. It feels as though it feels as though we are on a field of black powder, and one of us is carrying the match. And I think we all can feel that. We're waiting for the match to strike. We don't know who it is. We don't know when. So now is the time to use our gifts. What are we good at? Are we good at communicating? Are we good at encouraging others? Are we good at social events? Are we more pragmatic? Do we have hard skills? How can we use those? And do those things for Christ and God's kingdom. But that those gifts are going to be needed in the future. So let me know if you also, God's put something in you. He's trying to get you to look at something and not just live, but to observe, to pay attention. We don't want to be like they were in the days of Noah, just going about their day, not paying attention. So God wants us to use our gifts, and He's stirring us to do so. Let me know if you agree, or if you feel, or if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Anyway, thank you.